All right, and we are back. Welcome back to Pro Bikini News Network channel. I'm your host, John Algandi, and in today's video, we're going to be recapping our weekend shows, and we're going to preview 3 shows this week. Ben Weider show is on Friday, and by the way, just putting this out there before people come into DC, I think there's a lot of people who are in the DMV area right now, and they're training at DMV Iron. I have seen a couple of the athletes, and a lot of them look great, but tickets at the door at the Hilton Hotel are in cash only, which sucks because everything's digital and everyone uses Apple Pay, Google Pay, Auto, Android, whatever you want to call it. So if you have like a debit card, there are ATMs nearby. Unfortunately, you get charged with them. Or if you are coming in, probably, well, actually, you're coming in on Thursday, but you're gonna have to go to an ATM machine for Friday when the show starts on at 8 a.m. on Friday, and then on Saturday for the men at 8 a.m. same time. If you have athletes in any divisions, so just wanted to let you guys know, just putting it out there, so you're not going to come in shocked, and then you're going to miss out on your athlete. You're going to miss out on everything else and all that. We're going to recap first the Kansas City Pro. We had Amy Delgado winning. She won. And also we're going to recap the Atlantic Coast Pro, which I had Maria winning and they won. So the girls we had winning won. And it was interesting to see how the lineup went for that. But we had our top 3 in Kansas City. Amy walked out. I felt like she was a clear winner. It's interesting how the season's coming about to an end and what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, and also is leading into 2026, especially now with Fit Model coming a thing. And there is something that's happening at Ben Weider for people who turn pro. They are going to turn pro in Fit Model, and there's a competitor who is in both bikini and in Fit Model, and she'll have to choose if she's going to do pro shows, which one will she go for. So that's going to be another discussion. I do have some questions from Q&A like right here, so I'm gonna have that episode probably by the end of Thursday, hopefully early Friday. If it doesn't, obviously we're gonna be so focused on that show on Friday. So I'm gonna be there. I have a lot of people coming in from town, a lot of coaches coming in from other states. So definitely want something, if you see me, wave, say hi. I don't think there's many people in the lineups in the other female divisions. The place is right across from my work, so I'm gonna be in the building right there, so I could just walk right there. It's not too far. I'll try to get a good seat as well. So let's talk about the Kansas City Pro. Let's talk about our 5th place finisher. Let's see. So in 5th, we had Tanya. This is the first time she's in the top 5. She did get last year in the first call, and she plays top 6 in Arizona. I felt like for here, she had a great look. I love the blue suit on her. I used to see her in red, but this season we've had a lot of red suits, but this is a great suit on her. She is over 40, but she looks amazing for what she brought. I love the hair, the suit, the makeup. It contrasts very well. This lighting, this backdrop, I will say this year, much more improved than last year at Kansas City Pro. That lighting was just harsh, but here is actually pretty decent, but the background is kind of like this bluish, pinkish kind of a theme going on. This is a good front pose on her. I do think she just needs a little more glute. I would just kind of tweak this front pose just maybe a little bit. Just fill out more. You are seeing vascularity in her arms, and that's the one thing I'm noticing even up here as well. I think she just needs a little more shoulders just to balance out her upper to lower body. But overall, this is a solid pose on her. I do think it complements everything. Her elbows in line with her shoulders, and also to her glutes. It just feel like she just needs a little more upper glute in her front. But how she's doing this pose, this hair suit makeup presentation, really good on her part. Alrighty, let's go to her back. So in their back, it's pretty solid. I do feel like there's a slight imbalance because I feel like she's like maybe her left side's little is lacking more than her right. So you can kind of see how her foot placement, like you can see she has a little more on her right side. So there is an imbalance. I do think she does need a little more shoulders. She just needs to find ways to fill out her shoulders so it just balances out because it's kind of like small up top. Hair's great on her. Suit cut's fine. I just feel like what put her in that 5th place spot was just the imbalance. The tie-ins are pretty solid, but I feel like if it's kind of just like certain things that she has that she could probably work on. And obviously, this is great to see where she stands. And if she decides to continue to compete this year and for the rest of the season, I think she could just all that she does is find a way to balance out and improve. But front's good, just the backside, just it's just little things that can be fixed here and there. But overall, I'm happy for her. I'm happy to see her get into the top five and get a point, and maybe we'll see what goes on and for her future. In fifth place, we had Ukachi. So she's a natural athlete. The last show she did was the Ben Weider last year, where she took third. And unfortunately, this year she's not going to be able to do the Ben Weider because the rules changed where you have to win a natural show to do the Ben Weider, which if you do the Ben Weider, you qualify for the Olympia. I think Lana did do a natural show or something, or because she was the winner last year, she gets automatically invited. Um, beautiful look on her. I mean, she doesn't compete a lot, but I just think she just needs more glutes and just a little bit more delts from this. But this is a good front. This is maybe she could at least fix this front pose a bit. Um, Hair, makeup, great, everything on her. Um, really nice core, really tight abs. But I just feel like because she's smaller, so that's one thing that she has to do is just continue just to develop that and just fill out her frame. Solid look on her. I really like what she brought to the stage. I really thought, she brought great presentation. Just needs just more to her physique, and there's just going to be more time. But overall, I think she would do very well if she did the Ben Weider natural. Even in natural shows, I think she could do very well in doing that. And I respect her decision. I respect what she wants to do. But honestly, seeing what she's done and what she can bring is really impressive. I think this is her first time in a top five in a show. So actually, no, this is her second time. So I think there's a solid placing for her. She could, like I said, I do think she could fill out a little more, especially in her like lower half. I just feel like she's more upper body than lower body. She has a pretty solid back pose. I do like the hair. I do think it could just be cropped a little bit more. The suit cut's fine. She's got great glute inserts. Tie-ins are good. I do think like she's just a little too lean. That's kind of what maybe put her into that fourth place spot. So you can kind of see it in her calves. They're like, you can see some striations right here. You can see the D cups in the hamstrings here, adductors right there. That probably would have docked her. But because she has longer legs and a shorter torso, that's one thing that she has to work through. So another thing is her foot placement. I feel like what she has on her right side is much better. It's kind of like almost like reverse of Tanya, where it's like I think they kind of almost have the same thing, honestly. Like where it's like her right side stronger than her left. And I did go through photos. I do feel like she just kind of has that imbalance, so that may could have affected her placement. So, but if that gets corrected, it's great on her. All she just needs is just a little bit more width in the back, and this is honestly a really balanced physique. But good for her. Right. Our third place was Lana. So Lana's been doing pretty well this season. We haven't seen her a lot of the shows. She's somewhere in that first call out, somewhere just outside the top five. I forgot what show she did. I think she was like 11th or 12th, but she's very competitive. She did do the Olympia. That was the last time we saw her on stage. She did go to Olympia because she won the Ben Weider, and she is the front runner to most likely win the Ben Weider. And we will talk about her more, even with the questions I have. One thing for her, I just feel like she just needs to just fill out her frame, and because she's taller, she's about 5'6", 5'7", so it's just filling out her frame and just more time in development. I mean, she's had second place shows against girls who are in open shows as well. I mean, she's done well, and this is an open show right here. I just think for her, she just needs to find ways to nail the peak and just fill out. But I love the hair, the suit, the makeup. She amazing poser. I feel like she could just kind of when she does that like Amanda Latona pose, I just feel like she shouldn't be doing that. Like if this was a show that had a best poser, like Nashville did when she won that in the best poser, or if it was like Wow Such, is much better for that. But for these kind of a shows, you just got to get to the point. I do think for her, she just needs a little more upper glue right here. Like I said, I just feel like for her, she sees a fill out. Shoulders are good, but you see vascularity as well right there. Front pose is pretty solid on her. She shows her S curve very well. In the back, up top, great, but I feel like in the lower half, she just need to be more tighter in conditioning. Obviously, upper glutes as well. She just needs to find ways to you know, come in full and like nailing the peak, nailing the condition. I feel like she could do very well. She can win open shows against competitors that are not even natural, and she does very well. And she has great genetics for bikini. She has an amazing bikini structure. The thing was, I've been hearing is that she's considering fit model because she doesn't know she wants to do bikini very long if she doesn't want to do well. Obviously, that's going to be a decision on her. And like I said, we're going to talk more about that later on, especially with this question that I got asked. And it's going to be, I'm going to go into huge depth with it, but if we're just going to focus on this show, I just think for her, needs just to fill out, just need to come in fuller and just, just nail the conditioning. That's something with taller girls that they have to do is just nail the conditioning because they take more time because of their longer joints in their frame. So that's one thing that I would think that she can work on. Great presentation, beautiful girl, just needs to nail and bring everything together. And second, we had Massa. I think this is one of Massa's best looks this season. She did take second in Daytona. I honestly think that Massa is going to qualify for the Olympia. I think one way or another, she's going to get to the Olympia stage in 2026. And I think she hits shows in the summertime. I think by June, July, August, and she's right there in the points. So I definitely think she could be someone that moves up and eventually gets a pro win as well. She did win a show many years ago, and I do believe that she should have qualified that year. And I do think she can get to the Olympia stage. It's just going to be right lineup, and nailing everything come together. This is a beautiful front pose on her. She is 5'10", so she fills out her frame very well in the front. I do think she just maybe needs a little more shoulders. If I was to say anything, the hair suit makeup is really great on her. Hamstrings are great. Her upper glutes are filled out. She this is really well peaked. This is like a really, really good physique. I just think she just needs just a little bit more depth. She's the first one up because of her last name. And one thing about being first is sometimes when you're first, and then you're holding it back, and then you're like holding that conditioning backstage. Sometimes you tend to fade, but if she can nail that and bring it all together, I think she can win shows. I think she can be very competitive. All right, let's see her back. In the back, I feel like it's just shoulders up top. Conditioning's there. I do think that she had her adductors. She was a little too lean, and you can see her adductors right here. That's maybe what hurt her. That was something that what's her name? Janet Leug had issues with, where it's like she would come in way too lean. And Masa has great conditioning. She always comes in shape. She looks great, even in off season. Coming down and just seeing like weeks out what she looks at, it's truly amazing what she can do. She lives this whole lifestyle. That's the one thing I think really makes her successful, is like she lives it, breathes, eats, sleeps, everything, just fitness and bikini as well. um I just feel like she needs to find ways to just nail everything, come in fuller where it's not too lean, not too conditioned. And as she does that, she's very formidable to go up against. And even though there be shows where she's outside top five, she's somewhere in the top 10. She's always doing very well. It's just a matter of coming in and just nailing it and just holding that, especially when you go through posing rounds as well. But great look for her. This is one of the best Masas that we've seen on stage, ever. And I think she can just continue to improve on that. Then we have our winner, Amy. So I was really surprised when she came out, coming out in the blue suit. I haven't seen her in a suit since the 2022 Olympia. Even Olympia TV mentioned that she wore a blue suit when she won the USA's. I think it was like a purplish blue. She was like, that's kind of like, so she's worn blue, purple, pink, and red. And we see her in red, and she does pink, and she does it very well. She did wear pink in the show that she qualified for. I like blue. I like red. Whatever color that she likes, she'll go with it. I do think it just needs more brighter stones. It felt like a little too dark, but it complements and it contrasts with the dark hair to the skin to the suit. So really good on her. I mean, I think she's trying to find ways to nail her front pose, and there's nothing wrong with even you're already qualified. There's nothing wrong with her competing and just finding what works best, and obviously getting more experience and seeing different stages and seeing different judges, so that they'll find something that's, I think what her and her team are trying to do is just find something that like connects so that she could move up versus just being sixth, fourth, and then what second. No, she wants to like nail it. Obviously she's not. I do like admit everyone know right now Amy is not doing the Arnold Classic, so that's probably out of the conversation right now. But 16 pro wins, that's truly amazing. The hair, the suit, the makeup, the adults, the match, the glutes, match everything. Like this is like everything in proportion to each other. Hamstrings are great. She's happy to be on stage. She presents her stage. When she walks out, she's like smiling. She's just happy to be there. You can see just the confidence and the physique that she brings. Everything. I do think this foot position could be a little bit tweaked. If I'm nitpicking at anything, I don't know if judges are fine with that. It's just nailing her front and just nailing the physique. Because oftentimes I think at the Olympia, she starts to she like something is just not there. But if as long as she does what she keeps doing, I think she's gonna be hard to beat, and she's definitely someone that is a contender to go for the title next year. In the back, really solid, really balanced. The tie-ins, the glutes, the fullness, everything's there. I do think maybe if I was to pick at anything, just maybe a little bit more, you know, a little bit more depth to the glutes. Um, I just think that's one thing that I mean, this was a good look with her. This was good enough for her to win. She nails it. She poses excellent. The balance, the feet position, everything is there. She's nailing it. She's finding her peak. She's finding her stride. And I think if she continues that, she is going to be doing her first international show this weekend. So we'll see how that goes right there. But overall, the suit cut, the hair, everything is presented very well. The balance, she got great whip to balance out, everything, how small her waist is and how snatched it is. The balance of the legs to the glutes, it's not like her legs are not small where her glutes are overpowering. It's just everything in proportion. Everything is nailed. Right conditioning amount, everything right there. Spot on. So I'm excited to see what she's going to do. I'm excited to see her first international show. She's going to challenge her nemesis, Evie Eskandar. So we are going to get into that. But first, we have to preview our last show, which is the Atlantic Coast. So congratulations to Amy, win 16. I mean, to think about it right now, how many people have more than 10 pro wins is just very few. I mean, let's see. I mean, Ashley's beyond that at this point. I mean, Amy has 16. Laura Lee has 16. India Paulino has 16. Evie has 15. Angelica has 13. And then I think Jourdain just had 10 this year. So, I mean, not many people can say I have 10 pro wins in bikini, but to say that I'm tying now with two of the greatest bikini competitors ever, India Paulino and Laura Lee Chapados, that is truly remarkable. That is like we're witnessing history right here, and she's gonna surpass them event and maybe I think she could probably go for. I don't know if her plans to go for Ashley's record. Ashley continues for many years, and but 16 wins, just have so many just as many promos as Miss Bikini Olympia and Arnold Classic champions. That's a milestone right there. I really hope Evie Eskandar does, her and Amy have this battle back and forth where it's just like, who's going to win. They're like destined rivals right there. So, they're kind of like, almost every show they're like really close to each other. They're like either one or two spots away from winning. I think this show, when Amy won Tampa, Evie was third, and I think at Pacific, Evie took second to her. So I mean, right there, it's a battle. So whoever nails it on that day is going to be the winner. But I'm excited to see what they're going to do. And but first, we're going to go to talk about Atlantic Coast. So let's get into that. Fifth place, we had Brittany Hamilton. So the red suit, it's fine on her. I'm used to seeing her in teal, but I guess she's trying out something different and seeing what she likes best. I honestly would have had her higher. When I look at the other girls ahead, I think I would have had her maybe like at least in the top two, top three. But this is a solid physique on her. I do like the fact that she's working with her coach very well. I think she just needs to be a little bit more upright in this front. The her legs, everything is great. I just think her up and she's bringing her upper body to match her lower body, so her delts are not protruding too much. I do think it's just still a little more. I just think she has to find ways to just bring that down a bit. Posing is great. Presentation is amazing on her. She poses in place and she does that so well. Right. You see back. I like to see what her feedback was, but I feel like she's just she's like a little too tight, especially you see it like in her hamstrings. And she's got great calves, by the way, but I just feel like just nailing that conditioning and just coming way too tight. I feel like she just needs a little bit more legs, because just to balance out her glutes. If I was just to pick out anything from this, hair's fine. I would crop it just a little bit. Delts are great. I just think she just needs a little bit more quads just to balance out her glutes. But overall, great physique from her, great presentation, being consistent and doing very well in shows. I think she could keep that up. And I mean, this is the last show for her this year, but going into next year, hopefully she, takes some time off and then starts hitting it right away. And fourth, we had Cass. So I had her as maybe taking second or going for the win here. She did get her first pro win, so she has to win one more show to qualify, but now she's at the top of the list in points. I think the pink suit's fine on her. This is a pretty solid physique from her. I do think one thing about her, one thing about Cass is sometimes she starts fading in her upper body, and sometimes she has lower abs extension. I do think she's trying to find ways to nail that, but this is a good front on her. It is balanced. I love the hair, the suit, the makeup. She always has this pretty look to her. I mean, she has this like, what's the word I'm trying to say? She always has this like badass girl kind of a vibe, like, having tattoos. She has her throat tattooed. Has great hair always, and her makeup is always great on her. And I always look like you're looking at her like she's different than the others, and she has a different, unique style than other girls do. So I do think it was just maybe in her front that she needed help with, but I'm going to check out her back and see if that was something that needed to be fixed. But this is a good front on her. I just do think she comes in a little too lean and a little too hard if I was to pick at anything from her lower body. And just obviously, maybe it's just a shadow, but obviously, keeping her core tight as well. All right. So some of the girls didn't have like good back pose photos because Dan Ray does a lot of close shots, which I don't like. But that's kind of what he does. So she's not fully posed in this, but if I was to judge her back pose, it's pretty solid. I just do think that could have been just a little bit more tighter. The feet position are great. She's posing very well, but I probably think in individuals, some people just held it better than she did. I think she needs to just work on her glute. She just needs a little bit more legs and just a little bit more glute density. I would get maybe a different suit cut because I feel like it's a little too sheer. Maybe she could probably have a little bit more fabric so it doesn't look like she's losing up her glutes in the back. But love the hair. The suit's fine on her. She could do pink because of her darker hair and her skin tone. I don't know. Maybe the tan was a little off on her because you can see some dark areas and it's kind of like lighter here. So that's one thing that obviously could have been fixed. I don't know. Let me look at her front. Let me look at her front cast. See. Cast. Let me take this name. Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. But you see, but maybe it's just the lighting. It was just a little too dark up here. That could be fixed. But overall, this is good from her. I mean, look, I do think she's going to qualify for the Olympia event. And as long as she keeps her points up and as long as she picks the right show, she is going to qualify. But I'm happy for what she's done this season. You know, I mean, she's had second, third, you know, placing all season. So she's never been outside of fourth place. This is her lowest placing this year, but happy for what she's brought this year. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's uploaded. Yeah, she may have had some tanning issues. Let's get into third, which was Yulia. Beautiful look on her. I love the suit. I love the makeup, everything on Yulia. She's got a very pretty look. I do think for Yulia, it's just coming in fuller and not coming in too lean. I mean, one thing is like another thing. I always say this to a lot. I always say this. I would not want to be the first or the last one up because like just trying to hold that condition, hold that very long, and it was a long show, long day. So they started very late. They started at 10:30, but the open girls did not go on till probably like I think 1 or 2 p.m. And when you're one of the first ones up, they're like telling you 1 hour, like start pumping. And so maybe that's kind of what happened. She came in a little too capped right here in her delts. Um, Maria's first, and then she goes up next. So let me see. 203. So I think she was maybe the third one up because Maria's obviously first one up. So I do like the look on her. I do think Julia could be tighter a little bit in her core. Could just use a little bit, just could fill out because it feels like she got a little too lean. Glute fullness is great. She's holding that very well. This pose is really solid on her. I do like everything about this front pose. Just a couple things could be fixed here and there for her. In the back, she's got great glute density. I do think she just needs a little bit. No, she doesn't. I do think she just needs better. Just her tie-ins could be just a little bit more. She could use some more legs here just to balance out her. She's got great, genetics with the glute inserts. Um, width is pretty good. I don't think this was fully posed. When I look through the pictures, I don't think her hands were any lower. I feel like it went from up here. Her elbows went up here to down. This back pose is pretty solid. Foot position's good. Love the hair, by the way. I just think if I was to pick at anything, she could use a little more legs. I can't wait to see. Obviously Tyler's going to have a video and see. We'll see what he says and anything that he can do or anything that he says that she can work on. But I'm excited to see what Yulia can do. I'm happy to see that she's continuing to progress and get points, and she's been a very consistent pro. And I wish she would have done the Olympia. It would have been one of her best that she looked, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But always the next year, and I do looking forward to seeing her. And any show she's in, she's someone who to be looking out for. She's someone who could be in those top spots. So I'm excited to see. I think she's going to do one more show and see if they finally nail it. So I'm excited to see what she can bring. So congratulations to you, Yulia. In second, we have Jess Liu. So I like the blue suit on her. I feel like a lot of people are going to blue suits, and not many people can pull off pink like she does. Um, Beautiful look from her. The tan's great. The suit's great. The makeup. I love her style. I like her look. I do think she's just a little bit harder in the abs. That's maybe if I was to pick at anything from this front pose, she could use just a little bit more. She just could use it just a little bit to fill out more. But conditioning comes in good conditioning. She doesn't need any more conditioning. I feel like if any more, she just looks too shredded, too lean, and that's probably what maybe put her in second versus first. But honestly, thought her and Maria were very close to each other, almost because like the height, the hair, the makeup's great, the hair's great. If she did a 4 a.m., guys, she did a 4 a.m. makeup appointment. So if she does it as a pro, you could do it as an amateur. Just putting that out there. So no excuses. She looked amazing. And she's had a tremendous rookie year, always in the first call out, took sixth, took third, took first. Had a great, Olympia debut. I honestly could have put her higher, but I guess things are different on show day. But like what she brought this year, and I'm happy to see what she does in the next year in the future as well. So like this is not a full on back shot, but I do think she could use a little bit more glute, upper glute in the back, and a little bit more projection. I think that's one thing that she continue to work on. She's got great calves, but it feels like her calves overtake her hamstrings and her glutes. But just needs to bring that up more. Hair's great. I do prefer the curls on her more than like this like straight haired look. It's fine. It's not messy or anything. It's just I feel like the curls really bring out that look. I mean, some people can do this kind of hair, but I feel like for her and her physique, I like the curls better. Um, but it's well balanced from her. It's well balanced, but I just feel like she just needs just a little bit more glute, just a little bit more legs, and obviously don't want your lower limbs to be overpowering where it takes over. Better calves than them chicken leg boys. But yeah, I'm happy to see what she's brought this year. I'm happy to see a new pro come out right away and qualify for the Olympia and do real well. And I do think she can get another win the next year. She did win Toronto, which was a big show, and hopefully she goes back to defend that title and get another win as well. And then we have our winner, which was Maria. We had her winning. I think this is one of the best looks. So she did the East Coast Pro, won that, and then comes to Atlantic Coast and won this. So she's controlling the East Coast. So great physique from her. I love the hair, the makeup. The pink suit is kind of growing on me, with so many reds. I have nothing against people in red suits. We just have too many of them. It's so oversaturated. So I try something different. Maybe bring it as a backup in case, you see the stage. But this blue backdrop with this pink does contrast very well. It does help her out very well. I do think that she could use different shoes. I do think she has a little bit elevated heels, but they're fine. Um, I do think sometimes she comes in a little bit hard in the legs, but this was good enough that was filled out where it doesn't look too lean for her. She's only 4'11". So one thing is she's always going to be the shortest one in the lineup. So, I mean, her and Evie and then Jess almost look like little sisters. So she's fighting off her little evil sister. So great physique from her. I like this front pose. I do think that it's one of the best Marias that we've ever seen. And I do think that she's always going to be a top 10 girl. And maybe in a couple years, maybe within a year or two, I could see her moving up into the top 5 and even in the top 4. She did get 4th at the Arnold. She did drop, I think she got 9th. She did drop 2 places from last year's Olympia. So she was in the second call out, but then, remained at 9th but I could have had her in 8th place. I could have had her just move up. I would have had no issue had she'd been 7th again or between 7th or 8th. But I do think eventually she's going to move up. So getting into her back, I mean, it's very well balanced from everything from the glutes to hamstrings. Her width up top is great. Her waist is small. She's really brought that in very well. In her front, her waistline was a little thicker, but then she's found ways to like bring it in. Maybe she's been practicing vacuums and doing her cardio very well. Um, really well balanced physique. She kept her fullness. She's not flat, and she presents the physique very well. And obviously, stage presence. She like when she walks us on stage, she walks like she owns it, and she does that and presents it very well. I got to see some footage from her. Let me pull it up. Actually, let me find it on. Let me go to. Here you go. Go here. She doesn't take too many steps. It just kind of almost maintains in place and gets to the point. It's great on her. I think she's been doing that more versus walking it to the back. We didn't get many of the other competitors, but great job on Maria. Let's get to our shows. So we have 3 shows. Let's go. Actually, no. Before all that, let me see how I did with the Atlantic Coast predictions. So I got Maria right. I got Yulia right. Ashley Hampton was not there, even though she was in the lineup. I got Brittany right, and I got Nicole Tan right. So I got 1, 2, 3. I got 4 girls placements right. Wow. So I'm kind of right about some things. Cass got 4th. Jeff's got 2nd. China, which shocked me, was outside the top 10 and got 6th and did not place. Lauren Adams, she's really impressed me this year. I feel like she just needs to bring up her. If she gets the glute density, she's someone who's gonna be. She did get 6th in Hawaii, but honestly, it was great to see her come back and do very well this year. And then Valentina, the rookie from Argentina, she's going to compete in Spain. She took 15th, but it was her pro debut, so I'm not going to give someone a lot of stuff on their pro debut until they like start moving up and doing very well. But yeah, I was actually shocked. I got 4 people's placements right, so hey, I'm kind of right. But we have to do Spanish. We have Japan. We have the Ben Weider. So I'm probably going to preview the smaller ones, or the girls that I know in some of these divisions first, because there's not many. And before I get started with the whole natural or not thing, they have a lie detector test. They have a polygraph and a P test. So if you fail it, I think you get banned for like a whole year. You don't get to compete. But the whole natural, not like in my opinion, natural means no peptides, no enhancements at all. Anything that's not on a WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency ban list at all. So paraxanthine, which is a metabolite of caffeine, that's perfectly fine. It's been safe. It's been approved. It is new, but it is like, since it's a metabolite of caffeine, it's perfectly fine. But anything like even alcohol, that's on a ban list. But I respect any athlete that's natural. And one of the people, Daraja Hill, Dana Lynn Bailey, Sydney Gillen, Lana, they've proven that they can compete at the highest level on the Olympia stage, even being natural. I mean, Sydney won 8 Olympias being natural. Daraja was 4th at the Bikini Olympia natural. Dana Lynn Bailey won her first Olympia in 2013 in women's physique as a natural athlete. Erin Stern was natural. She won 2 Olympia titles. So I've always said, if that's what you believe in and has your conviction, stick with it. Fit model, I hope to be the more natural division now, but unfortunately, yeah, people are going to grow out of it. It's so much different than when Angie Miranda won versus what's been awarded now. But I'm not going to give a lot of amateurs any crap until we see enough on the pro stage. But what some of the girls from Universe was great, but then it kind of got away from it a little bit. And another thing is the suit cuts. It just the judge, like, I think the judges are trying to find that ideal look, and until we have that ideal physique, then I will say that is the standard. So, even with anybody like me, I was natural for such a long time, and then it decided, okay, how far do I want to take this? What's the next level? And in bikini, when it started, it's so much different when it started back when Sonya was the champion, and Sonya came from figure going into bikini, and she was the first ever Miss Bikini Olympia champion. But be as natural as you possibly can. But already decided to go into that next step. Obviously bikini is way different now, and obviously it's gotten more competitive. Things have evolved, and now people are on more stuff. But at least the Ben Weider has that integrity of keeping that. And people said it was dumb to have natural shows in the pro league because everyone's enhanced and stuff, but some people can beat a lot of people as a natural. Keon was natural and he got his pro card. Rachel Sedgwick was natural. She won her pro card at nationals in a class of like 20 some girls as a natural athlete. But then after a couple of years, she realized, okay, I don't want to be placing like outside top 10 or last call out. I want to take this to the next step. But that was a couple of years in maturity where she decided to do that. I remember she actually was at the Ben Weider and she got last, and she was a natural athlete, but she grew a physique for many years before deciding to do anything. But we have that show, the Ben Weider. We have the Japan Pro, which it's going to be on a Monday. So I'm going to try to follow it as best as I can. They are 14 hours ahead of us. That is a big show. They have the men's open. They have classic. They have men's physique and wellness. So they have most of the popular divisions, almost like Arnold does. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I do have some names down. I did write them down. So we're going to be looking at them. And then Spanish Grand Prix, which is probably going to be the show of the weekend. So first, let's go into Ben Weider. So our front runner is obviously going to be Lana. She did take third at the Kansas City Pro. She has done well in open shows as well. Let's see, was this the Olympia this year? Go. Here we go. So she's most likely your front runner. And I'm curious to see, like, if she wins this, what does she decide to do? To stay in bikini or go to fit model? Because what I'm hearing about is she's going to do the Japan Pro in at the end of February for the first ever fit model show. So she probably would have to just downsize just a little bit so she doesn't look like she's too conditioned and doesn't have hamstrings, ham tie-ins. But I'm curious to see. I mean, the scenario is this: she qualifies for both fit model and in bikini. What does she choose to do? Like, what does she feel comfortable doing? She'd have to bring her whole upper body down and diet down for about 14 weeks from from the week from Friday, if she decides to go into the fit model. So we'll see what she does and we'll see how it goes. I'm interested to see how Lana does defending her title and getting her Olympic qualification. All right. So then we have a loom. Got amazing physique, great structure. Needs a little more tighter conditioning. These girls from Asia have great genetics. She's taller. I don't know why she has those high platform heels. Beautiful look. I think she took third in that Taiwan show that Yumi won. Did she? Yeah. she's doing that. She's does like I said, you could do very well as a natural athlete. I wouldn't have no issue if she was second. Um, Megan DeGinto. So I think that she could be a potential top two, top three in this show. Was it Hawaii she took? Hawaii was she fourth? Hmm. I do think she could use a different suit top because I feel like it's a little too big on her. Megan. Stephanie Ortiz. She won a natural. So all these girls had to win natural pro shows to get here. No, is it her? So she could be one of the favorites as well. These more fullness to her glutes. Let's see. We'll go with. Oh yeah, the girl that won her pro card last year in the overall. Steph. No, hold on. What's her name? Ramsey. Here you go. She won the Vegas Natural this year. Let's see. These stage photos. Black suit's fine on her. This was last year. I have to see what this year looked like. Yeah, this is last year. Just could be tight on the conditioning, but this was her as an amateur. So I think that'll be my top five. I'll go Lana, Megan, Alum, Stephanie, and Brittany. But I could put Alum second. Japan. So I say our frontrunner Sally. She is 14th in the world in bikini. No, that's from. One thing I like about her is she's always smiling. She's adorable to look at. Like that just exudes confidence. Like I'm happy to be here. Got great genetics. I think like she stands too wide. Just needs a little bit more glute density. Wait, do we have a better video? Okay, here we go. I'm looking forward to seeing what she does. She's much better at the Olympia than in Japan. Okay, so I think she's gonna take it most likely. Um, Zinyi. Now she's called Cynthia. So she took six. She took second. She took six in East Coast. She took second to Amy in Hurricane. I think she took yeah. Did she do the show? No, I don't think she did the show this weekend. It was probably last week, where she was like seventh. You know, it was muscle contest. She took seventh. Yeah. So Cynthia, then Natea. She placed 13th at the Olympia a couple years back. Always qualifies, but I feel like she's always a one and done. It's like she does enough just to get her Olympia qualification, then shuts it down for the whole year. Curious to see what she does. Um, Uyanga from Mongolia. So she won this show last year, and then she won another show. Um, but I feel for her that she does just enough to qualify. I mean, hey, listen, if the point system was this year, she would have qualified already. But because last year she won two shows, she won Japan, and then I think she won another one of the. I think it was like the Korea show, and then we haven't seen her on stage. But she just does enough to qualify. But then comes the Olympia one time. I feel like she needs to do more. But it's hard coming from a Asia country, especially Mongolia. They can only judge based off her Olympia look. And honestly, these girls from Asia have great genetics. They have great physique, but they just get overlooked. Like, I just feel like she doesn't need more doubts if I was to pick out anything from her, because that's the first thing I'm looking at. That was kind of like the Alina girl from Kyrgyzstan, the one who took second in was it Romania to Victoria? She used to be like that, such big doubts. That was the first thing you'd look at. But Alina is actually going to be doing the Spanish show, but she brings these doubts down and just matches that. This is such a great look. This is such a great physique. All right, and then I think she's a natural athlete. Um, a song, a song Moon. But I think she's choosing not to do the Ben Weeder. Again, they have such amazing physiques. Like this, I like this look better. And the Monster Zyme shows are the production is just top notch. Yeah, she would have. Yeah, she did. She would have. She would have done Ben Weeder. I don't know why she doesn't want to do it. Maybe it's because of the flight and all that. I think it's I don't know anyone else. Maria Blancard. Couldn't find her name. Actually, no. Here we go. Just don't follow her. So I've not seen her on stage. So actually, she did the Tahoe. So I don't think she's had a top 5 yet, but she's got an amazing physique. I think she could be in those top spots. We'll see. All right, Spanish Grand Prix. So our front runner is Amy, the legend. Let's see. So we have Amy as our winner, most likely as our front runner. Then we have Evie as potential top 2. Potential can win it. Just going to be on who shows up best. All right. And then we have Alina. I just talked about her early. She took second in Romania. I think for her, it's just fixing this front pose. I think she just needs to bring this leg in a little more in her back. I think I have a top 10. Patriza will be another one to be up there. I think she's just outside top 5 in her last show. She just has to be that one that just nails it. Sarah Panzetti from Italy. She took 4th. Just use more glutes. What's her name? Rania. She's competed 27 times. And a lot of shows she's in, she's 3rd, 4th, 5th. She took 2nd to Jazzy in the Spain show. I mean, to be at the top of the points list, I do think eventually she'll qualify. But winning a show is just difficult just because of her structure. And that's not discrediting her hard work and her dedication to sport. It just comes down to who nails it best on show day. So she's one to be looking out for. Oh yeah, Elizabeth. She does so good in US shows, but then Europe shows she just, I don't know. She has like a similar like Ashley K kind of physique, but I think that she needs to stop powerlifting so that she doesn't come in too vascular and too big up top. Let's see. No. All right, and then is there anyone else I've seen? It's hard to put. I could put a top. What's the bat? Oh yeah, Monique, South Africa. We haven't seen her in a while. All those girls had red suits. I like the purple suit on her in Portugal. Amazing structure, longer torso, longer body. So she's tall girl. I think she could be the first South African bikini pro. One thing for her is just filling out her frame and just coming in with the right amount of density. Okay. Let's go. I think if I was to throw in two more people, I think it'd be Laura. I think it'd be like Laura Zachariah. And Cassie. They've been perennial top 5. They've been perennial like top 10. So with that being said, let's do predictions. Let's do it for Spain. Okay, so I'll go Amy, Evie, Alina. Hold on, am I not sharing this? Here we go. I'll go Rania, Monique, Patriza, Sarah, Laura. Actually, no, wait. Hold on. I'm going to move them down. I'm going to go Elizabeth, Patriza. I'm going to go Sarah. I'm going to go Laura, Zach. And then I'm going to go Cassie. I do think 3rd through 10th is wide open, in my opinion. I think these two are going to, I think Evie and Evie are going to be the clear top 2. Amy's going to win. Evie's going to take 2nd. And then, depending on who shows up, according to those judges, that's who's going to move up, or even maybe someone, if one of them is not at their best, someone can overtake them. All depends on show day. All right, so that's my episode for today. I appreciate you guys. This will be uploaded. Letting you know once again that if you're attending the Ben Weider, cash only at the tickets. So unfortunately, $75 sucks. You have to go to ATM. Might have to find a way to. I don't know if they just do 20s by each one, or if they can't give you exact amount, but there should be local ATMs nearby for that. I'm looking forward to seeing some of you guys there. Wave at me, stop by and chat. I mean, I'm going to be there for the morning. I'm going to be there for the prejudging. I'm probably not going to go to finals. I have to go to my job, not too far away. So they did say that's fine if you go, just report to work and be there. So I got to do that. Um, Q&RA, I will have those questions posted probably Friday morning. Probably going to put it up just before midnight Thursday, so then it gets uploaded and extracted and exported and all that, because you guys asked some really good questions. I thank you guys for bringing those in. It's good for me to give back and give you guys feedback, and give back to the community and what I do and what I contribute for bikini and the whole bodybuilding community. I just wanted to be part of it, and I do think what I'm doing is hopefully making a difference in doing all this. And I appreciate everyone's support. Like, subscribe. We have our Black Friday sale coming up next week for Unmatched. So Codell Classic 10. So looking forward to that. They are getting a new intro workout as well. And there's going to be like a tier system based off what you buy. And, you may like the products, you may not. I think that they make great stuff. And yes, they use stevia as a sweetener, but I feel like so much better when I take their products, not just selling it because I'm, a disruptor for them, but I do like what Chris Gethin and what the guys and Doug Miller stand for and the integrity that they bring. But that is all I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much, and you take care, and I'll see you next week.